All right, here we go. Cups up. Toast to the morning word crowd. God bless you. God bless America. A little sip for the trip. Shout out to our school teachers, to our police officers, and to our military personnel. God bless you and thank you for the work that you do to serve your country and community. Of course, it goes without saying that we have a war in Ukraine. We still have the ongoing recovery from the tragedy of the earthquakes in Turkey and northern Syria. And of course, the inner turmoil in Israel and the tragedy at Covenant Christian School and in Nashville, Tennessee. So we need to keep these people in our prayers. So please pray for them and lift them up, that God might comfort them, give them courage and wisdom in their recovery from these traumatic events in their life. And then we need to count our blessings. We need to count our blessings. All right. So here we are, Psalm 49. It's like 18 verses, so I'm going to read the whole thing. Actually, it's 20 verses. So here we go. Hear this, all peoples. Give ear, all inhabitants of the world, both low and high, rich and poor together. My mouth shall speak wisdom, and the meditation of my heart shall give understanding. I will incline my ear to a proverb. I will disclose my dark saying on the harp. Why should I fear in the days of evil, when the iniquity at my heels surrounds me? Those who trust in their wealth and boast in the multitude of their riches, none of them can by any means redeem his brother, nor give to God a ransom for him. For the redemption of their souls is costly, and it shall cease forever, that he should continue to live eternally and not see the pit. For he sees wise men die, likewise the fool and the senseless person perish, and leave their wealth to others. The inner thought is that their houses will last forever, their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Nevertheless, man, though in honor, does not remain. He is like the beast that perish. This is the way of those who are foolish, and of the posterity of those who approve their saying. Like sheep they are laid in the grave. Death shall feed on them. The upright shall have dominion over them in the morning, meaning in eternity or at the resurrection. And their beauty shall be consumed in the grave, far from their dwelling. But God will redeem my soul from the power of the grave, for he shall receive me. Do not be afraid when one becomes rich, when the glory of his house is increased, for when he dies he shall carry nothing away. His glory shall not descend after him. Though while he lives he blesses himself, for men will praise you when you do well for yourself. He shall go to the generation of his fathers, they shall never see light. A man who is in honor yet does not understand is like the beast that perish. When it says a man who is in honor, it means in power or being held in a place of prestige. Now, what this psalm says in a nutshell is this. Your money is not going to help you in eternity. And you can't buy your salvation. You can't buy another person's salvation. Your posterity and your money will basically perish with you. Even though you leave it to others, they will disperse it in ways that it will soon be gone. So basically, he's talking about the futility of trusting in our own power, even our own looks. It says, your beauty shall be consumed in the morning. Shall be consumed in the grave. So anything that we trust in, our health, our strength, our wisdom, our knowledge, our beauty, our money, whatever it is, it's going to let you down. And it can actually hurt you in eternity if you've put your faith in it, whatever it is, versus Christ. But this morning I wanted to look particularly at the aspect of this with regards to earthly riches. All of us on this broadcast, and probably 99.99% of everybody that sees it, are among the richest 1% in the world, even though my wealth may not be your wealth and your wealth may not be someone else's wealth at that level. When you put us in the pot with 6.5 billion other people, we are the upper 1%. And it's very easy, particularly as the nations prosper, and America has been the most prosperous nation heretofore in all of human history, then quite naturally its citizens prosper. So those of the United States, we're in the upper of the 1%. Even our poor people are not poor compared to the poor of the rest of the world. So in that sense, we are extremely materially blessed. And we not just sufficiently blessed, I'm talking about super abundantly blessed by having overwhelming riches and wealth and opportunity. Well, the psalmist is calling us here to make sure that we take inventory. The name of the morning word is take. I was going to name it taking stock. It's checking your portfolio. Checking your portfolio. Now, no one in the world has portfolios except rich people. Okay, most people in the earth, and I'm gonna say it again. Most people in the earth are living from day to day. They're just trying to make the day or make the week. They're trying to feed their family. That's it. Rich people have a portfolio. Portfolio is money that is not necessary to live on, but that you lay up and towards the future of trying to have something in the future that you can live on. That used to be something that you can live on. Now we're trying to, instead of retiring on our retirement to live, we retire early so that we can travel and entertain ourselves. So we've really gotten misaligned with this. So I want to kind of just jump on this just for a second and understand I'm talking to myself now. But yesterday I was waiting for Micah's baseball game to start, and I had a guy call me, and it's not a new conversation. It's a conversation that I've had probably a half a dozen times in the last couple of months. I've called some people, and other people have called me. And this person called me and said, "Hey, I'd hate to trouble you, but if you got a few minutes," yeah, I got it. "What do you think about this? My wife and I have been doing all that we can, sacrificing, trying to max out our 401k. And now here we are," and he's talking about some certain world events and current events and all that. And he goes, "What we're looking at is that everything that we have worked for and sacrificed for with regards to our 401k might be absolutely, at the least, nullified, and at the worst, evaporated, done away with, lost." And I said, "Yep." And so they said, "What do you think we should? What do you think I should do? What do you think we should do? What can we do?" Now the question was this: how can I, in this economy and in the situation of the world, how can I preserve my money? Okay, that's what it. How can I I'm not worried about making any money right now on my investments. I just don't want to lose anything. How do I preserve my investments? Here's what I said: if you got it invested, it's at risk. And it's at a graver risk now than it's ever been. And he said, "That saddens me and that angers me." I go, "You're exactly right." I said, "You got two choices." I said, "You can cash it in and put it in a can and sit on the can and hope that inflation doesn't eat it all away." I said, "Or you can just keep doing what you're doing and let the rough end drag, or you can go spend it all." I said, "But there's really nothing, and I'm going to say it again, there's nothing that you and I can do to make sure that tomorrow or next week or next month or next year that the wealth that you possess today will be yours then. There's nothing that you can do to preserve that." And that's what the psalmist here is speaking to, the futility and the of thinking. Here, look at what he said here. He says, "For he sees wise men die, likewise the fool and the senseless person perish and leave their wealth to others. Their inner thought is that their houses will last forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names." He said, "You think you own it, and you think you're going to pass it to who you want to, and that they're going to own it, and that it's forever going to be yours and in your family." And he's saying, "You're a fool. You're a fool." And he said, "Nevertheless, nevertheless, man, though in honor, does not remain." Man, you're going to die. and you leaving all your stuff to those people that are living. And listen, they ain't thinking like you. They're not thinking like you. They don't think, and they're going to take it and they're going to spend it and so forth and so on. And it's going to cause, and if you leave them a lot of money, it's going to cause them to have a lot of confidence in their money. It's a catch-22 situation. You got to have money, okay? You got to have some money, or you just stone cold broke and you're a beggar. But money demands your service. And very few people in the scripture, very few people can manage money. For most people, this is biblical. For most people, money manages them. Now, we would never say that my money manages me. You would never say it. I would never say it. But God said, yeah, it does. And so he said, what I need to do. So here's the only thing I know that you can do. And I told him, I said, you can cash it in and spend it. You can cash it in and put it in a can and then sit on the can. I said, or if you're going to leave it invested, which is basically probably what you should do, is you need to put it in the most conservative. He said, I've put it in the most conservative things we can. It's not at risk to the market hardly at all. And so I said, well, that's about the size of it. Okay. Well, Jesus, I started to put a post on Facebook today. I may do it. This morning for today, and I may do it now. And here's what I would say: instead of calling me, or me calling you, or me calling my broker and you calling your broker, and see, we have brokers in the United States, and they don't have brokers in Bangladesh. That's how blessed we are. So if Jesus was our broker, and we said, Jesus, in light of this economy, what would you recommend? What would be your wise word to me in this economy? I believe Jesus would say, you need to check your portfolio. That's what the morning word is. Check your portfolio. I go, okay, let me check my portfolio. Well, I'm in the most conservative thing that I have. And you know, I come back like the rich young ruler to Jesus. I come back and I say, well, I got it in some bonds. I got just very little in stock. I got some CDs. I got some treasury bills. I got a little gold ETFs. You know, I got this. I'm pretty conservative. I'm hedged pretty good. Here's what he'd say: check it again. And we would go through that until it finally dawned on me. What are you talking about? Where is it invested? Now listen to me very carefully. Where is it invested? Where is it invested? Well, Lord, I got some. No, you missed it. Where is it invested? Well, I bought some seed. I'm going to ask you one more time. Where is it invested? And then it would dawn on me. This is what he's talking about. Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust and the Fed destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. I added the Fed part in case y'all missed it. And where thieves break in and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, where Biden can't get it, the Fed can't get it, where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. No one can serve two masters. For either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will be loyal to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and money. I wonder what Jesus would say today if he was my broker. I may retitle this, If Jesus Was My Broker, ? I hope I don't keep getting those phone calls. And again, I've made a couple of them myself. What do we need to do? What do I need to do? Well, you know what? Here's why we are in a quandary. Here is why we are anxious. Here is why we are worried, saddened, angered, and so forth and so on. We're trying to preserve something that cannot ultimately be preserved. It can. We want it to remain, and it will not. It cannot. You say, Pastor, I know people that's passed money and land on down the line for years and years and years and years and years. Yeah, baby, that was years ago. If you're a believer and you think Jesus is coming back, okay? If you and I are believers and we think Jesus is coming back, I'm going to leave you with this question. If you and I are believers and we think Jesus is coming back, where is the wisest place to invest it, your resources, so that they are never lost, but are eternally preserved? See you tomorrow. Good Lord willing, and the saints don't rise. Peace out.